Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome to Adventures in History. Today's topic is Dearest Mother, Love Ruthie. Ruth Smallshaw Ray's Letters to Her Mother, 1947, Part 25. This is the first part of the original publication, the Smallshaw Family Memories Collection, or SFMC, number 22, published on September 20th, 1997. Letter from the editor of the SFMC. Well, as you can see, here at the SFMC, the presses are rolling furiously. And how could they not, with such dramatic content in the Dearest Mother, Love Ruthie material, only waiting typing, Xeroxing, publishing, mailing, and dissemination to our loyal and avid readers. The material in this issue continues in the scintillating fashion of previous DMLRs. Of course, Ruth is far from Regina, from home, her parents and brother Bud, but especially her mother. It is amazing what a wonderful relationship the mother and daughter had. Ruthie continues to adjust to a very different environment. She had left the conservative, staid prairie of western Canada to the deep south of the U.S. in the state of Florida, and a more liberal, perhaps we could say decadent culture. She had moved from a cold climate to a warm one by the Atlantic Ocean. Certainly it must have been wonderful to be warm during the winter after so many brutal Saskatchewan winters. And Ruthie continues to be incredibly attractive to almost any man who saw her, it seems. She obviously had quite the charm, as she knew a type of popularity few ever know. Johnny Ryan, brother of the renegade English Ryan, became her first boyfriend in Florida, though she dated others. And it seemed no one in Florida could compare to Don Lane, who still pined for her in Saskatoon. Shopping trips to Jacksonville, attending the Daytona Beach stock car races, and a dazzling holiday season in Miami are among the events in this splendid issue. Enjoy this walk backward 50 years. Peter J. Ray. Miami Beach Hotel, European Plan, 520 Ocean Drive, Miami Beach, Florida, December 1946. Dearest Mother, hi folks. Honestly and truly, I've never meant it to be so long between letters, but time just vanishes in Florida, and especially Miami. It really is quite the place, and I certainly hope you come down. The weather's beautiful, and we've been down to the beach every day. Swimming on Christmas Day is definitely something new for me, and I couldn't begin to write about, everything. So much has happened, and everything's been so very new and different, but I'll write a long letter when I get back. I just haven't been able to concentrate long enough to write a long letter. I guess I won't make it to Cuba, though. As a matter of fact, Marion only planned on staying her 3 days and stayed a week, and I counted on the week, and here it is 10 days, and I hate the thought of leaving. It's so warm, and the air is so sweet and refreshing. Christmas and New Year's just didn't seem like them at all, but more like a 4th of July effort. Believe me, though, the place just sort of gets you, though. Hope you had a Merry Christmas and that the parcels didn't get too banged up. Forgive me for not sending anniversary congratulations, but I did think of you. Sure think you'd like it here. We'll write again. Celebrated New Year's with 6 Canadian ex-airmen. Felt popular. We'll tell you about it all. Love, Ruth. The Colony Hotel, 736 Ocean Drive, Miami Beach, 39, Florida, January 7th, 1947. My dearest mother, hello, darling. What a big surprise to arrive back and discover that so much has happened at home in the time I was out of contact with you. I'm really glad that Daddy is getting along so well, though. The telegram and 2 letters from you were waiting me here, so I got the complete story at one sitting. It was so nice to hear from you and about you again. As a matter of fact, Christmas for me, except for the midnight service, was from 5 to 6:30 a.m., the morning that I got back and got my Christmas cards. Marion woke up, and so we had a little reunion. She gave me tweed with an atomizer and an electric alarm clock. Incidentally, it woke us this morning to go back to our first day at school. I thought it was very sweet of Don. He sent me a pale blue evening bag. Mostly the thought of him picking out something like that tickled me. He says he only got adjacent once, and that at the end of exams, and was home 11:30 New Year's Eve, which also goes over big with Ruthie. Alice sent me the loveliest satin Soulette slip. No kidding, lingerie is at a premium here. $1 for white silk panties. So I was glad to get it. I must send her a belated birthday gift. Connie sent me a photograph album, so must get cracking and put in some snaps. It was so swell to hear from some of my former kiddies, and really surprised me to hear from a lot of people I thought had forgotten me. Thanks for forwarding a few letters and cards. Being observant, you probably noticed a few. Remember Bill Cornyn put a note in to say he's married. I wonder what made him send me a card to Wascana Street. Nice of him, though. And Jack. I hadn't had time to write before and answer his letter. I guess he'd thought he'd try Regina to make sure. No kidding, for the first time I realized how nice it was to hear from people I'd almost lost contact with. Letters from Mel, Harold, Monica, Marv, Frank, working hard, and my ex-pupils. Really sweet. A darling snap of baby Crowther. Thanks lots, too, for the papers. In spite of my lack of comments, I enjoy hearing the news. Merle's wedding, Dr. Anderson's death. Oh yes, and Bessie Pugh, the instructor in Michigan. Was that a surprise? She asked how I liked Florida. Word gets around, eh? Well, sweethearts, I'm glad that everything turned out as well as it did for you and that you had a nice birthday. Bud really has a merry old time. I get such a kick out of his letters and so glad he liked the sweater. They have red woolen flannel shirts here that are the rage for the boys. Would he go for one? Well, I hardly know where to begin regarding the trip to Miami and Tampa. I really had one swell time, believe me. Miami is so different from any place I've ever been, and I yet find it hard to reconstruct my thoughts. A trip through Florida at this time of year is worthwhile just for the experience itself. Tourists are packing, every state is represented. Going down along this coast, there's hardly a mile not inhabited with something. Trailer camps, drive-ins, theaters, small towns, or just homes with a couple of orange trees. Trailers, thousands of them, mostly parked. People fishing from every bridge. The sunsets are beautiful. We passed one place and I said, "Gee, I feel right at home. This looks like Saskatchewan." It was an airport. Ow. Miami's great. It's clean, it's modern, it's efficient, and it's neon lit from every angle. Even the morgue is lit by neon lighting around the edges. The neon signs are so huge and complicated. Seagram's Liquor have a huge coat of arms, and different ones flash off and on 3 or 4 different ways. Really, they're an art in themselves. It's a very artificial city. Money and liquor flow freely. The weather was heavenly, always calm and warm, and there's something about the ocean that really is so wonderful. It sort of hypnotizes you. Miami and Miami Beach are separated by a series of islands joined by bridges and causeways. It's $1.95 by taxi, 10 cents by bus, and 15 cents by jitney. The first jitney I'd ever been on. A large car which holds about 8 or 10 passengers. It really keeps you on your toes in a fast-moving city like that after quiet little St. Augustine. It was a great experience. We stayed at Miami Beach, mainly Jews. The hotels in the other district run as high as $100 a day. True. Well, financially, you know where I stand, and I was determined to spend as long as I could for as little as I could. Family secret. The first night, the woman said it was $6 per night, so we went around and found a place for $4 and told her we were checking out. She came down to $30 a week, so I said no, we had a place for $22 a week. Surprising even me. So she let us have it for $25 for the week. In all honesty, the best we could do. The next people paid $6 a night. I asked them. Well, we met a woman on the bus from Chicago who treated us around, and first thing, we'd met a lot of people. Good contact. We took in as much of Miami as we could without killing ourselves. There are so many nightclubs, and I even went to the Bowery with a fellow one night. Quite an experience. There are so many beautiful hotels and homes there, and the shops and stores like Fifth Avenue, New York. One pair of gold sandals priced at $100 as an example. Walter Winchell was there. Marion saw him in the morning. She left. Dwight Eisenhower was there too. It really is like being in another world, and I'm very glad I went. I was very fortunate in the people I met, considering the characters there are there. The races being on, bookies galore. And I wasn't at the Orange Bowl New Year's Day. Everyone asks me that. After Marion left, I moved to the Colony Hotel. That too is a story which I could go into detail about. I was very lucky to meet 6 Canadian fellows who were ex-airmen, bachelors, and were having a little reunion in Florida. They sort of adopted me the day before New Year's and were really swell. Someone asked if they wanted dates for New Year's, and they said, no, they were going to show Ruthie the town. They were really swell to me, and my natural liking for the Air Force was substantiated. Before that, I'd got into the habit of accepting every date that asked. Not going, but say I would. The first Saturday night, I had 4 dates, but usually went out with a fellow from Philadelphia who was sort of nice. Nice looking, nice car, very attentive. There are such extremes in Miami. You can eat a 75-cent dinner and a $4 dinner. The difference, the surroundings, and that goes on up. I had one Italian meal, antipasta or whatever it is, and a huge steak. Sometime we'll talk this all over. I never knew there were so many Jews in my life, though. And to hear 2 arguing, it's great. Several fellows asked me what an Irishman was doing there, the beach. Most of the people seemed to be from New York. Daddy said he likes to hear about the scenery. I appreciated it. To me it's always been just pictures, and to see it come to life, well, I'm very lucky. Remember, Daddy said, you can do whatever you want to. I believe it, if you know what you want. I'd like to visit Miami again, though. Waiters and waitresses are the main jobs. One fella made $60 in tips alone New Year's Eve, and that's not unusual. I imagine it's a very toughening life, though, 'cause it's a pretty fast city. From Miami to Tampa, it's fairly flat country. Tampa isn't so pretty, nor so clean. I met an Army fellow on the bus who showed me around Tampa, the university, the museum, and also went to a lovely place for dinner. Balcony and dancing in the Sapphire Room at a big hotel. It was really lovely and such a smooth orchestra. Only 3-piece, and it sounded pretty super. A drummer, a pianist, and a singer with a big bass viol, I think. Anyway, it was swell. The country from Tampa to Orlando and to St. Augustine contains a lot of orange groves. Mostly picked right now, but still a lot with oranges. It's beautiful around Orlando with the lakes. I'd like to do the whole trip again, only slowly and by car. I'm trying to talk Marion into us buying a trailer. We could live in one and sell it at the end of June and save so much rent, but no go so far. Oh yes, and I saw the horse that was in the show Smokey, a stage show. Was it ever wonderful? He replayed the part of the horse that saved his master's life by lying down beside him and helping him on. I really went for it. On the beach, as you'd lay there, a huge balloon would go overhead. Also a plane advertising some nightclub. Letters strung out behind it, similar to skywriting. It really didn't seem like Christmas or New Year's. I did find an Episcopal church on Christmas Eve, a very impressive place. Also went to another Episcopal church on Sunday. Every night seemed more like the 4th of July, no kidding. There are so many hundreds of experiences and impressions I couldn't begin to tell you. The best way is to visit Miami yourself if you think you'd like to. Miami is pronounced Miami by Southerners. I do hope Daddy gets along fine. It's quite a coincidence, our 4th year together, and Marion's dad got pneumonia just before Christmas and had to have penicillin, and Daddy being sick too, and our first Christmas away from our mommies. Only 5 of my kiddies back, but they seem happy to be. I got 2 boxes of chocolates and a gift set from them. I'll write again, dear, and be looking for a letter from you. Did you have to pay duty on anything, or was anything crushed? I love you, my dear sweet mother, Bud and Daddy. Love, Ruth. Written on Colony Hotel, Miami Beach stationery. St. Augustine, Florida, January 9th, 1947. My dearest mother. Darling, how nice of you. I received your parcel and really like everything. I didn't realize how much could be packed into it. I definitely need the panties, and they match the slips Alice sent. I've really had a rare time with the perfumizer, Bud. I think it's really tricky and smart looking too. But the only thing I've envied about people who smoke is that they get such smart things, lighters, etc. I will get my initials on it, dear, too. Marion said it smelled like a perfume factory by the time I was through. I really like it. Incidentally, Bud, I did look till the end for a Ronson lighter, but there just aren't any around. It was rather a coincidence. Marion's mother sent her a clear plastic apron. Then I got the blue one. I think they're really nice. Hoping for domesticity, Mommy? It was cute to get the note from Auntie Elsie, and thanks too for the dish towel. Say, did I ever mention the brownies? Thanks anyway, dear. I remember at the time I was rather rushed, so may not have. I still have only 5 kiddies back at school, which aren't enough really to work with. 2 are sick at home and 1 is sick here. Dr. Settles and the teachers keep kidding me about staying in Miami so long. Marion said he was getting after her for leaving me there. The big bad city, you know. I really could have been quite content to spend the rest of the winter on that beach, though. Sure was nice. It's as hard as ever to get up in the morning in spite of our new alarm clock, with a luminous dial, too. There are cars with trailers all over the place, and I still think it would save on rent for us to get one. Did I ever mention the fact that the pineapple palms, ones that have trunks sort of crisscrossed, like pineapples grow by new sheaves or leaves growing up in the middle, and gradually the bottom ones bend down and turn brown and break off. It takes about a year for each one to grow out. You probably know more about it than I, but I get such a kick out of discovering things like that. I realize I didn't dwell very much on going to midnight service at Christmas. It took me nearly all day to find out where an Episcopal church was. Marion went to the Jesus Catholic Church in the center of the downtown district. By 10:30 p.m. it was packed on the streets. Sort of criminal. Fellows and even girls were passing a bottle among themselves while waiting. I managed to catch a bus that went over the causeway out to Belle Isle, and in spite of correct directions, I thought I was coming into the grounds of a hotel. It was the Episcopal Church. Very impressive, and people beautifully dressed, dimmed lights, and a lovely choir. I cried because I'd have rather been in St. Peter's with you. I managed to meet Marion again downtown. The next Sunday I found another Episcopal church, also very large. It's funny, but I think I like St. James in Saskatoon best of any I've ever been in. The one here is also very beautiful. You know, the weather is so lovely in Miami and healthful, and money seems so plentiful. Yet Marion and I noticed how nearly everyone looked tired. Marriage and divorce is so common. One night we were in a party. One girl was celebrating her 23rd birthday with her 4th husband. Being naturally curious and not being very interested in the party, I sort of got her telling me about it. She said the first was a fellow in college, but it only lasted 3 months, and they were divorced. Then she met and married a soldier, and while he was overseas, she fell in love with a sailor, divorced the first, then later the sailor. Her husband of the moment is a bookie, and as she said, really a no good guy. It may have been an exaggeration, but I doubt it. So many people have accused us of being married. A lot of women don't wear their wedding rings down here. I don't think I'd like to raise a family down here. In Miami, I heard children telling jokes that shocked even me. We also went to a burlesque show one night. My first and my last, I think. I wasn't very crazy about it. When I went to cash a check at the grocery store, the girl stared at me and then said, "Oh, I just took it for granted that you were married." "Oh, I've started another art class. The other one is credit. This is more charcoal work. I'll tell you how I like it. Guess I'd better say bye for now, and thanks again for the nice presents. I like the panties so much, dear, and love you very much, and I'm always looking for a letter from you. Love, Ruthie." Buddy, I think you're really a swell brother, no kidding. It's a very original present, and what's more, I like it. I'm glad you're having such a swell time with your gang, dear, and watch that schoolwork too, honey. Love, Ruth. Daddy, thanks for your letter, and I hope you're feeling better. You were really lucky to recuperate so quickly. Would the hospitalization be in effect yet for you, or is it still the family account? For the last few days I've had a pretty sore side, but hope it goes away. I had it last spring and it got better though. Annoying at any rate. Did you get the Miami newspapers, and do you still think you'd like to come down here? I'd like to be able to spend vacations here, but I can't imagine ever staying. I miss the snow too much. Again, I hope you are feeling okay again. Love, Ruth. To be continued. Well, that concludes today's presentation. Good luck to you with your efforts in family history. If this interests you, finding, preserving, and sharing old letters, diaries, and photographs, and interviewing elderly relatives while they're alive, you might consider checking out our website, Adventures in History with Peter J. Ray at peterjray.com. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care. And I'll see you next time.